Welcome aboard. Of course, we'll be getting into the papers shortly to let you know what exactly is happening. I think we'll hit social media a bit. Not now, but what we've seen on the back of a certain expose. Galamsey economy. We'll be talking a bit about that. Mapitso,
good morning. Ben, how you doing?
I'm okay.
I see you got my email last night. I told you to wear black and you're a kid. I appreciate it.
She's actually fibbing. There was no memo, but we got in here. It's happened, this is the third time also.
Is it the third time?
Where we've unintentionally, unwittingly dressed alike. Black shirt, black outfit.
So
but
that's
you're
what
rocking
happens. So are you. Thank you. That's what happens when you spend a lot of time with some people. It's like when you're dating someone, right? And you guys you date for a long time. First of all, you guys start looking alike, and then you just pick up their mannerisms, and you just...
Is that true across the board, or is it based on the depth of love? Because I have seen some people, I mean, I look at their pictures. These are more maybe older couples, and you look at their pictures initially, and they weren't so... But as they grew... They started looking alike. I find it weird, but it doesn't happen to everybody. It's not a cut across situation.
It doesn't happen to everybody, but I think if it's not like the looks, the mannerisms, some of the things that you say, you pick it up. Because when you're talking and then you're like, sorry, please, yes, please, no, please, you pick it up.
You pick some things.
Yeah, you pick some things up. So I think we have something going on. We had a thing going on. Yeah. You good?
I'm okay.
What are you thinking about?
Some things came to mind, but we'll leave them there. Right before we get into the papers talk about them as well. But what do you think about... Yesterday we had quite a bit to talk about.
Yeah.
The Minister of Finance at the presidency. I'm talking about Charles Edouard-Hen. And... what has emanated from Galamsey economy, which sort of got him into tricky straits.
Yeah.
What's your take on that before I usher in Bridget Jogmanuku?
Honestly, right now I don't have any take because I haven't watched the documentary, and I feel like it would be unfair for me to have some sort of a take from the things I've seen on social media, the reactions. So I'd rather watch the documentary, the full documentary, see what the whole brouhaha is about, and then maybe I can share
your own
thoughts.
assessment.
Yeah.
Right. I've also seen a few reactions. I didn't watch the full thing either, but I've read excerpts of it. I followed what happened yesterday on Top Story and Newsnight, tied to that, and it makes for interesting conversations. It's so reminiscent of, is it number 12?
Yeah.
I believe, the one that downed Kwesi Nyantakyi. And what I find worrying, though, the standout worry for me is the fact that in number 12, the two people in charge of this country had their names sort of brought up. And here again, there are those instances. I find it worrying. And I also like the reaction of the vice president. Very blunt, this person, blah, 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 blah. I've never had anything. I listened to Dr. Is it Gideon Wako?
Yeah.
Responding that the vice president, doesn't do these things and all of that. I saw the vice president's post himself saying that his integrity is paramount. And I feel those were apt responses, straight to the point that, look, this and that. But my worry is why in two exposés, back to back for an ass, you have some of these things coming
mentioned.
up.
Yeah.
Sometimes perception can be quite a problem. Even if it isn't the reality, because we don't know, even if.
Another question is, why do they feel so comfortable in mentioning these names?
Exactly.
It's like, okay, because I'm not going to mention that, Benjamin Akakpo, or I can sort you out with AM Show. If you need a source in AM Show, I can, speak to my producer, Echo. The only reason I'm so comfortable in saying that, I'll get you a slot on the AM show is because I know the relationship I have with Echo. I know the things that we have done. I know the conversations that we've had. So now the question is, why do they feel so comfortable in mentioning
But sometimes
names?
in peddling influence, especially for government officials, someone may say things that they may not necessarily have the power to do or just to
Possibly,
get. And you would also notice that in both instances, Kwesi Nyantakyi, and I'm treading cautiously here, Charles Edouard-Hen, because it's a convoluted issue. It appears once money is seen, once they see money, shopping money and the rest, then sometimes they become very glib, very, forthcoming, saying things that, I don't know. Because if you recall number 12 and Kwesi Nyantakyi, after seeing that stash of money, the dollars and how he was gushing. And for me, back then, it was the rapidity with which he penned that memorandum of understanding, that MOU. I mean, what?
It's crazy.
Money can do things, though.
Money can
especially in this kind of economy.
I tell you. So our prayer for today is that may we get our appearance fee in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord, please give us our appearance fee. Amen.
Through legitimate means. Thank you very much. Let me bring in Bridget Jokbenuku. We don't want any illicit means that will bring us trouble.
Sure.
Bridget, good morning.
Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Mapitso.
Yes, good morning, Bridget.
We all call her Maps for short, just to say
Mapitso. I'm curious, where does the name come from? South Africa?
South Africa.
Ah.
Yeah,
okay.
and first time you pronounced it fantastic. Thank you for that.
Unjani.
Nyapila Gunjani.
That's all I know.
Oh, I'm getting sold out. Hope you sold me for something something valuable. I mean, a good value. But Bridget, so quickly, I always do this when you join us. I'd like to find out, what is your economic situation like? Is it any better since the last time we spoke? And as you do business, again, have you had to hike your prices? No. After that, maybe you can add your quick thoughts on the development so far, Galamsey economy by Anas.
Okay. No, it's worsened actually. Things you see, I deal in it's agribusiness, and what has happened is that there is no palm fruits in the market or in season. The palm fruit season is lean. I think I said the last time I was here that this year has been particularly dire. I know other producers of other palm products who have stopped producing. And therefore, the women who produce my brand don't have the raw materials to produce. So we're getting it in little bits, drips and drabs. And when that is there, when that happens, of course, demand is more than supply. So the price definitely goes much, look, it's astronomically high. Yesterday, I went to Medina Market. I love to go to the market. And I went to Medina Market yesterday. And I asked one of the women who sells palm oil, I said, how much is that? And she said the 1.5 liter bottle was 50 cedis. And it's not even branded. It's in a used Voltic bottle sitting there. I was shocked.
How much does yours go for again? 1.5 liters?
I don't have 1.5 liters. I have 2 liters. And the last time, price changes all the time. I mean, as you can tell. So the last time it was selling at, I think, 85 at 2 liters. Okay. But mind you, this has more value added, if you like, clean packaging, labeling, and all the other overheads that come with it. So, but you are assured of a fantastic, unadulterated, pure, original product. So it's a struggle. Right now, as I sit here, for the last 2 weeks, I haven't gotten any products, and I have orders. People are waiting. I just have to, pray that the situation rectifies itself, or the tree starts to fruit, and we get some products. But I guess that also is an opportunity to see how we can counter this lean season. Like I said, it's normally not like this. Even when it's lean season, yes, we still get some products, but it's not as much as you get during the bumper season. But this year has been particularly dire. So it's an opportunity to see what we can do when this happens again, if it does happen again. It did happen once, a number of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and we must learn how to produce, preserve, stock. It's an agro product. It's a product that rides on flavor and scent, and sometimes when it's stored in a certain manner, it may lose its flavor.
Right.
So we've got to look at all that and deal with it.
Maybe before we get into the Anas bit, let's hit the papers because they say a lot about those stories. Let's start with the New Crusading Guide.
Okay, so let's go to the New Crusading Guide. And Ghanaians throng the AICC to watch the Galamsey economy. Also on that page, my integrity is my priceless asset, and I won't allow anyone to ruin it. That's according to Vice President Baumea. And follow from Anas expose, President sacks Charles Edubuahin and reports him to the special prosecutor. We also have government will collaborate with security agencies to combat illegal mining. That's according to Merku Dukur. So let's go and read about the Galamsey economy. So people from diplomatic community as well as from respectable institutions and so many individuals from all walks of life were seen in the long queue at the premises of the conference center to have a glimpse of that documentary. Some fallouts from the Anas expose, President Sax Edubuahin reports him to the special prosecutor. Now, in a statement on Monday from the presidency, the Director of Communications said after being made aware of the allegations leveled against the minister in the expose Galamsey economy, the president spoke to Mr. Edubuahin, after which he took the decision to terminate his appointment and also refer the matter to the special prosecutor for further investigations. He said the president thanked Mr. Edubuahin for his strong services to his government, his appointment in 2017, and wished him well in his future endeavors. Another interesting story is government will collaborate with security agencies to combat illegal mining. Now, 44 officers drawn from Ghana, Benin, Botswana, Gambia, Liberia, Malawi, Namibia, Nigeria, South Africa, and Togo participated in an academic and capacity building exercise themed illegal mining and the socio-economic impact on communities. Now, Mr. Merku Duka detailed that the small-scale mining sector has provided direct and indirect employment to thousands of Ghanaians. With these enormous benefits, the Deputy Minister lamented the challenges stifling the growth of the sector and threatening sustainability of the mining economy as well as the country's security. Whilst admitting the challenges confronting the country, he said certain measures rolled out by the government have been to tackle the challenge have been rolled out. He also noted these policies, among others, the introduction of community mining scheme, purchasing of mercury-free mining equipment, strengthening the Department of the Minerals Commission, and training of river guards and procurement of speedboats are already yielding positive results with this fight. He emphasized that these measures will not only end illegal mining activities, but also provide employment opportunities, which will reduce possible security threats. Bridget, two stories here. We have that government will collaborate with security agencies to combat illegal mining. Galamsey is something that we have been trying to fight. Are we winning the fight? I mean, they say that now they'll add security agencies. We have speed boats. That's the first one I'd like to get your thoughts on. And also the Galamsey economy, the president sacking Charles Edubuahin and reporting him to the special prosecutor. Bridget?
Well, I think that government has been collaborating with security agencies, at least the military, ever since we started this war on Galamsey. So I don't see anything that's new about that. If they're saying they're going to renew it or include more people or more of the security agencies, fine. But from what we know, and I said it on another forum, some of the security agencies or some of the military men who were deployed to go and fight or battle Galamsey or arrest or stop Galamsey were compromised. And we've heard some of the Galamsey operators say it, that, we feed them and we give them money.
Yeah.
So they are compromised. So saying this, well, it's good PR, but, act it, do it, and let's make sure it's done properly. We are in trouble with Galamsey. Our rivers are all polluted. The other day, we actually saw the sea that had been polluted as well. And frankly, we cannot allow a few selfish people to destroy our country, our environments, our climate, our waters, our farms. Everything is being killed, is being destroyed.
Yeah.
Because of a few selfish people. And I haven't watched Galamsey Economy, but we'll come to that. The politicians are involved. I mean, the CDD, and I was involved in the CDD research. I wasn't involved in the research, but I've been with a few working groups. And they talk about how campaigns are financed with Galamsey money, such illicit financing, including Galamsey.
So,
And the two parties have not denied it. So really, we need to see the gravity of the situation where the country is being, people will die.
Yeah.
I don't know how we expect to make money at the expense of people's lives, So saying it is one thing. We hear them, but do it and ensure that it is done properly and in honesty.
So what measures do you think we should put in place to actually fight this Galamsey menace?
Galamsey must be banned. We must ban it and start looking at it holistically, properly.
Yeah.
People have said it's our livelihood and it's our job, but this has gone beyond livelihood.
Yeah.
When it goes beyond what you must have to eat every day and becomes greed, this is what it has become. It has gone beyond livelihood. I tell you, if those farms existed, all those farms that have been destroyed, if they still existed, people will not be thinking about livelihood, because livelihood really is food, shelter, food and shelter. And we are destroying everything and indeed destroying the livelihood, because now it's about money, it's about greed, it's about acquisition of wealth, and not really livelihood anymore.
All right. So before you comment on the Galamsey Economy documentary, Benjamin, I want to bring you in, for the benefit of some of our viewers who
and that
don't.
Docu, by the way, extends into so many things.
So give us like a brief, some PowerPoints about this Galamsey Economy.
Well,
what you've read
the focus so far has been on Charles Edubuahin, the Minister of Finance at the presidency, and what exactly those decisions where he is in somewhere in the UAE, and he's having an interaction with some sheikhs concerning an investment in Ghana in the banking sector, and then he is cutting deals, so to speak, suggesting that he can negotiate their meeting, the vice president, and that these would be the requirements, some $200,000 of payment made, and that the vice president's family also need to be taken care of. These could be through contracts that would be offered, and that, basically some processes must be followed. He talks about some 20%, I think, that he would want in terms of commission on an investment of about 500 million. So 20% there would be about 100 million. So there are so many things in there, but those are some of the things that emanate from that, at least the snippets that I have seen. Did you ask whether it was dollars, Bridget?
Yes.
We're talking dollars, yes.
Yes, you must add the currency so that we realize how huge that amount is.
My bad. Well, let's, if you're done
so your thoughts are on that?
Well, like you, Mapitso, I haven't seen the video or I haven't seen it yet. But I've read excerpts from it, and I heard on another medium, a summary of it. I don't know if it goes beyond that and talks about Galamsey as is being practiced. But the interesting thing, or the irony of it all, is Charles Edubuahin's nickname is actually Galamsey. I don't know if it's Galamsey or Galansey, but that is what we called him. I knew him when we were in university. So I don't even know.
Well, that's a new one. You say his nickname back then was what? Galamsey or Galansey? Really? How did he get that?
Something like that, yes. So
I was just asking, how did he get that name? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't in the same secondary school with him. He came to, we met in Legon. That's how I know him. But I wondered, therefore, whether the expose was a play on his nickname. I wondered.
Right.
I I also wondered whether, I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it covers the whole issue of Galamsey and the
Right.
mining menace and all that. But you said something, Benjamin, from the beginning. Some names have been mentioned, and they were mentioned in number 12. So there's a certain pattern developing. The person is lured or invited to the UAE. I wish that these victims or subjects would at least be wary or look out for such temptations. I mean, you saw it. If you saw it happen to one person, you start to think, well, why am I being invited to the UAE? But you see, when greed and money comes into play, you are blinded. Your senses and your antenna is the signals between your antenna don't connect anymore. You don't even see the lure or the temptation. I read somewhere that he said it was entrapment. You know, when an animal is trapped, it's normally trapped in the path within which it walks.
Yeah.
So if you walk that path all the time, you will be trapped. You know, so it's not an excuse. I think they must take responsibility for what they have done personally to say, I was greedy and I fell for this. It's a pity that it's happened to him. I am sure, or I am, yes, I am sure that there are a few others in the pipeline, and they must be outed one way or other, either through Anas Arimayao, thank you very much, or by any other means. I think that if the president and the vice, whose names are always dropped in these things, are really serious about their image and how they are put out there, they must fish out these people, these ministers, these their officials, these their appointees, and really get rid of them.
Right.
They have done a good thing with Charles Edubuahin, but there might be others in there, and we just wait to see what Anas Arimaya will bring to us. I think Charles here has been made a scapegoat of, and a public display of, and probably behind the scenes, he's going to be, pacified in some way or other. If this is not true, we need to see a lot more like this. And this would be the case of even what happened with the procurement agency.
Right, the PPA boss.
A few others who were caught pants down, for lack of a better phrase, and made an example of.
Okay. Let me just add up to that from the Daily Guide, and then we'll get into segue into other stories. So I've already mentioned the $200,000 bid that he spoke of when it comes to the president and the vice president, and that is also my curiosity why in number 12 their names are mentioned and here again. But just to quote Edubuahin here, he says, "You mean like appearance fees and stuff?" He's talking about the sum of money. I mean, he himself, that is the vice president, if you give him some $200,000 or something as a token or as thank you appreciation, that's fine. He's not really like that. All he needs to worry about is his campaign money in 2020, Mr. Edubuahin reportedly told Tiger Eye investigators at a meeting in a hotel room in the United Arab Emirates. And the statement also explained, the presidency reacted, and their statement explained that the decision to sack him, that is Edubuahin, came after the president was made aware of the allegations leveled against the minister in the expose Galamsey economy. Of course, we also saw the vice president post on social media that his reputation is dear to him. We had Dr. Gideon Boakon also speak to the fact that he speaks for the vice president, saying that that is not something that the vice president is known for. And But looking at the trend, you've already started talking about it, but looking at this bit about campaign money in 2020, does it in any way, create a logical picture that there could be some fire to this smoke, according to what Edubuahin professes? Hello, Bridget. We may have lost Bridget momentarily. I would like to know what, Mapitso, what people think on that. And also, Bridget, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Did you get my question, or should I reframe it?
You were wondering if there was any fire to the smoke
basically. Now that campaign financing is being brought up, and you know how expensive our campaigns are, what do you make of it?
I don't want to believe it.
Should we have a system that can check into it and say, this person is cleared, this person is whistle clean?
Yes. Actually, after the CDD research, we've had working group meetings, and we are coming up with regulations as to how to check where campaign funds are coming from, and and things like that. So that can be checked. The president, the vice president himself, instituted the national ID. We have all these tin numbers and all that, so that things are linked to, unless you're dealing purely in cash. And even then, there is expenditure. So when you spend money on a certain kind of campaign, buying some kinds of things, we can question that where is that money coming from? The EC, for now, is the one supposed to check these audits, political parties and I suppose candidates, and how they how much money they spend and what they spend it on. But I think that going forward, we may need another also. And I would like to add that the PPP has always talked about public audited accounts and declaration of assets. We think that, the way we declare our assets right now as political figures is not transparent.
Right.
We're supposed to put declare our assets on some sheets of paper, fill this form, put it in a brown envelope, and deposit it at the Registrar Generals.
Right.
Now, nobody knows. That envelope is never opened. Nobody knows what's in it. Nobody knows what I've declared, that I have one car, I have one house, I have this or that or that. If within the first year of my of being in office, I build high-rise apartments, nobody is going to question where did that money come from as a public official. Because nobody actually saw what I declared as my assets. So we have always said in the PPP, let there be a public declaration of assets of all political players from the very beginning. So yes, if this money were to come in and the EC is working as it ought to, and maybe it is overwhelmed, maybe the EC ought to be just a supervisor of elections, and then there must be an independent body that audits political parties and political players, so that we know that this is where you are raising your money from and this is how you are expending it. Then when $100 million or $200,000 comes in from the United Arab Emirates, we can say, where from this money and how did you get it?
Yeah.
I want to believe the vice president that he's a good person, astute. I want to believe. I always trust first and have you disprove my trust. So
right.
This is my wish. This is my wish, really. We always wish for the best.
All right. We have to go shortly, but let me just, and on the back of that, there's also this Arab saying, or is it Russian? Trust but verify. Yeah. That's why they will say, trust God, but tie your camel. Anyway, So just to wrap with other headlines, Opuni dismissed judges to continue trial. There's been a lot of talk about Justice Honyanuga and his hitting the statutory or mandatory retirement age for judges, which is 70, but the Chief Justice can allow him to continue, and that's what's happening there. Government opens You Start Jobs and Skills program. Picture there, Dr. John Ampuntua Kuma, Deputy Finance Minister. And there's also Galamsey Queen forged marriage certificate for residential permit. And that is what is emerging now. Her marriage to one Fabian is being questioned. On the international front, stop associating war and violence to Islam. The Greater Accra Regional President of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission has said so. There's also Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, pledges to give away most of his wealth. And finally, Liberia president entitled to $2,000 foreign trip allowance. He's actually reportedly planning to watch his son play at the World Cup in Qatar.
All right, so I'm just going to do one story, well, two stories from The Finder quickly. So it's still, I won't allow anyone to ruin my integrity. Dr. Baumia will also have Anas Expose Akufo-Addo, Sachs Edubuahim. But on page 4, EC revokes registration certificates of 17 political parties. Let's get into that story very quickly. Now, the Electoral Commission has struck out the names of some 17 political parties from Ghana's political parties register. I will mention them very quickly. The Democratic People's Party, DPP, United Front Party, UFP, United Development System, UDSP, Every Ghanaian Living Everywhere. We also have Yes People's Party, YPP. We also have United Ghana Movement, UGM, Democratic Freedom Party, New Vision Party, and Ghana Democratic Republican Party. Also, we have Ghana National Party, Power Unity Power Party, I beg your pardon, United Progressive Party, Reform Patriotic Democrats, People's Action Party, United Renaissance Party, National Reform Party, and United Love Party. Now, the notice of cancellation is under the hand of the EC chairperson. Between May and June 2022, the EC embarked on a nationwide exercise to inspect the offices of all registered political parties in Ghana. But after the exercise, the EC invoked Section 15(3)(c) of the Political Parties Act of 2000, Act 574, which mandates it to cancel the registration of political parties which do not have offices at the national and regional levels. Now, the general public is hereby informed that the registration certificates of these political parties I've mentioned have been cancelled in accordance with Section 15(3)(c) of the Political Parties Law 2000, Act 574, effective the first day of November 2022. Bridget, quickly, your reactions to this.
Oh, about the political parties. Well, I mean, yes, there are many players in there. People have advised that we, the minority parties, we don't call ourselves smaller parties anymore. We, the minority parties, must come together and form one big party. And maybe this might be the opportunity for those of them who have been cancelled. We all want the best for Ghana. If your party has been deregulated or, killed, as it were, do come and join those of us who are still there, and let's form that alternative for the betterment of Ghana. There were a lot of us on there. I mean, at the last elections, there were 17 of us on there.
Right.
And when that happens, some of us get missing on the ballot paper. Even though we are very well intentioned, we have seen that these two parties may not mean well for, or leaving it as a duopoly does not work well for Ghana.
Yeah.
And we need a few stronger parties. So if they've been deregulated, by all means, the rest of us who are there have open arms. The PPP is ready to take on more members and, strengthen our party for 2024 to fight against these other two who are killing us.
Yeah.
Just to wrap with these headlines, Economy Times, government's revenue underperformance poses risk to fiscal consolidation. There's also CD depreciation to hike inflation further. And SEC, that is the Securities and Exchange Commission, not informed on possible debt restructuring and haircuts. So that's according to the director saying that They have no knowledge of that situation. They've not been informed about any debt restructuring and haircut. The Daily Dispatch reflects some of the stories we've already done. EC kills 17 political parties. That's what it says. Akufo-Addo sacks Edubuahin and directs special prosecutor to investigate him. And then on dismissal of Edubuahin, Bawumia speaks on influence peddling. All of those stories in Economy Times and the Daily Dispatch. Any final words, Bridget, before I do one birthday?
Well, yes. I think that we've all been thrown up, for 6 with this Deputy Minister Charles Edubuahin's story. It's really sad. It shows that I don't think that Mr. Edubuahin is in need. I think this was greed.
Yeah.
And we must all take a look and really hunker down and say, what is it we need to run this country properly? We've run out of good values, and we must come back with people who have those values, who want to run this country, not people who only believe in value, which is money.
Thank you so much for those concluding words, Bridget Jogbanuku.
Thank you very much.
One-time flag bearer of the PPP and a woman of many things, a businesswoman, if you like. Let's just wrap the conversation with a birthday wish. Happy birthday to you, Jacqueline, my very own bosom friend. It's been many years. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you and greetings to the family. May you grow to be what? Should we say 99.7?
99.7.
From our sister station. But coming up in sports, what can we expect, Mapitso?
So we have Otu Addo, who is explaining the criteria for the Black Stars 26-man squad. We know that yesterday they released the list, and a lot of controversy around that. But Muftau Nabila has more for us in the sports segment right after